Welcome to Shadow Fable. Stories to fall asleep to say, if you can. Don't forget to subscribe and settle in for tonight's tale. Sometimes the most terrifying truths aren't hidden in haunted houses or graveyards, but in the pages of something seemingly harmless. Something like a second-hand journal. The thrift store didn't even have a name. Just a sun-bleached open sign flickering in the dusty front window, and a row of sagging blouses on rusted hangers blocking half the entrance. I wasn't even supposed to be in that part of town. My GPS had glitched, rerouted me off the freeway, and by the time I realized it, I was already 2 turns too deep to bother correcting it. So I pulled over, just for a stretch, a break. And there it was, this crooked little shop wedged between a boarded-up laundromat and a bail bonds office, like it had been dropped there and forgotten. Inside smelled like cracked vinyl and time. You know the smell. Old books, mothballs, maybe a hint of mildew. Not unpleasant, but faintly decayed. I wasn't looking for anything. Maybe a record, something nostalgic. Instead, I found the journal. It was wedged between a broken cuckoo clock and a bin of water-damaged cookbooks. A plain, leather-bound thing, the kind you'd get as a gift and never use. No branding, no price tag. Just smooth, dark brown leather and a faded elastic band holding it shut. I don't know why I picked it up. Actually, I do. It was warm. Not hot, but warmer than it should have been, sitting on a cold metal shelf in a cold little shop. I flipped it open. The handwriting was tight, controlled, with a slight lean to the right. Clean pages, clean ink, no doodles or margin notes. The first entry was dated March 12th. That was the same day I found it. It didn't register right away. I read it out of idle curiosity, expecting grocery lists or dream recaps. Instead, I read this. March 12th. Woke up too early, 4:17 a.m. again. Showered, but the water never really gets hot anymore. Made coffee, spilled a little on the counter. That old stain is starting to look like a map of something. Thought about her again, don't think it'll stop. Drove to work in silence. Passed the same woman walking her dog. Black retriever. Limp in the left leg. Forgot my lunch on the passenger seat. Ate vending machine crackers again. I froze. Not because it was strange, but because it was exact. That was my morning, word for word. Coffee, stain, the woman with the limping retriever. I'd forgotten my lunch, vending machine crackers. And the time, 4:17 a.m. I read the entry again, slower this time. It wasn't like someone describing a typical day. It was describing my day, down to details I hadn't even consciously noticed until I saw them written out. I turned the page. March 13th. Woke up at 4:17 again. Why always that time? Dreamt of a hallway. Long yellow wallpaper, no doors. Something waiting at the end, but I never reach it. Coffee, but the can was empty. Had to dig through the cabinet for the old backup tin. Tasted like dust. The woman with the dog wasn't there today. Felt off because of it. Traffic heavier than usual. Forgot to answer that email from Janelle again. She'll be annoyed, but won't say anything. She never does. It was tomorrow. Already written. I stood there for I don't know how long. A bell rang somewhere behind me. Someone came in, coughed, left. Still I stood, journal in hand, rereading the second entry over and over. It was specific, not vague, not like a horoscope where anything could apply. It knew things. I bought it for $5. The man at the counter didn't even look at it. He just rang it up and said, "Be careful what you keep." That night I couldn't sleep. I kept the journal on my nightstand, glancing at it like it might open on its own. At 4:17 a.m., I woke up. No alarm, No noise, just awake. I stumbled to the kitchen, bleary, reaching for the coffee canister. Empty. I found the old backup tin in the back of the cabinet. The coffee did taste like dust. The woman and the dog weren't on the sidewalk during my drive. I didn't answer Janelle's email. I checked the entry again after each event. Like I needed to prove it to myself. It wasn't a coincidence. It couldn't be. That night, I turned to March 14th, March 14th. Dream again, hallway is longer. Wallpaper peeling now. There's a shadow behind me this time. Don't turn around. Coffee tastes worse today. Didn't finish it. Got a call at work. Number blocked. No one on the line, just breathing. Felt cold all day, even in the sun. Janelle asked if I was okay. Didn't know what to tell her. She looked worried. She never looks worried. Back home now. Something's wrong with the hallway mirror. It's not showing me anymore. Just the hallway behind me. But I'm not in it. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. The next day, the dream came again. Longer hallway, the peeling wallpaper. I didn't want to turn around. I knew something was behind me in the dream. That morning, I stared at the coffee but couldn't drink it. The call came at 11:03. Blocked, just breathing. At work, Janelle stopped by my desk. "You all right?" she asked. "You look pale." I said I was fine. That night, I stared into the hallway mirror. I was there. Faint, but there. But behind me in the reflection, nothing. The hallway stretched longer than it really was. I turned to check. It looked normal, but the reflection stayed off. Longer, dimmer. That night, I locked the journal in a drawer. Told myself I wouldn't read March 15th or 16th or anything else. I'd toss it, burn it, just forget it. But at 4:17 a.m., I woke again. This time, I didn't move. I stared at the ceiling, jaw clenched. Like if I just didn't do anything, I could break the cycle. But the coffee tin was still empty. And the dream came back. This time, I saw movement at the far end of the hallway. Not a figure, more like the idea of one. And in the mirror, I wasn't there at all. Just that hallway, stretching endlessly. I couldn't help myself. I opened the drawer. March 15th, didn't want to wake up, felt safer in the dream, even with it there. Coffee untouched, mirror still empty. It's spreading, reflections are wrong now. Computer screen flickered, saw a different desktop background. Mine's not blue, I didn't change it. Janelle isn't speaking anymore. Just watching. At 2:23, the lights flickered. Everything hummed for exactly 7 seconds. I counted. At 6:06 p.m., the front door opened. I didn't hear it, but it was open, just a crack. I slammed the journal shut. It was too detailed. I hadn't done those things yet, but I knew I would, the way the journal told me I would, and worse, if it kept being right. What happened when it reached the end? It stopped at March 18th. That was 5 days away. The last page was torn. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the floorboards made me jump. I moved the mirror into the garage. I unplugged my phone. Told Janelle I was sick. She didn't answer, just sent back a thumbs up. She always uses full sentences. That wasn't like her. I opened the journal again that evening. The entry had filled itself in. That's not a metaphor. I watched it appear. The ink sank into the paper like it was bleeding up from underneath. And the last line said, "You opened it again. Stop doing that." I dropped the journal, literally dropped it. It hit the hardwood with a dull, unsatisfying thump. That last line, it wasn't a description. It wasn't part of the daily recap. It was talking to me. I stood there, staring at the thing like it might lunge. My heart hammered in my ears, and I realized I was holding my breath. When I finally exhaled, I told myself it's a trick. A weird trick. Heat-sensitive ink, pressure-activated dye, whatever. It's not real. But I didn't pick it up. I left it on the floor that night. I turned every light on in the apartment and slept, well, lay down, on the couch with the TV droning softly in the background. I couldn't bring myself to turn it off. Silence had started to feel dangerous. I didn't dream that night. Or, if I did, I didn't remember it. For the first time in days, I woke up at a normal hour. The sun was already peeking through the blinds. I made tea. Coffee had become hard to trust. I ignored the journal. Stepped around it like you would a spider you're not ready to kill yet. I even threw a dish towel over it. For the rest of the day, I pretended things were normal. Until 6:06 p.m. The front door eased open with an audible click. I was in the kitchen. The sound was faint, almost polite, but the air changed, like a pressure drop before a storm. I crept toward the door, blood cold in my veins. It was open, just a crack. No wind, no draft. I live on the 3rd floor, deadbolt always locked. Always. I nudged it shut, hand trembling, and secured every lock with a double check. Then I turned, slowly, and looked at the towel on the floor. It had shifted, just slightly, like something had brushed past it. I picked it up. The journal sat exactly where I'd left it, but its cover was open just enough to show a sliver of the next page. I didn't want to. I really, really didn't. But I looked. March 16th. Didn't lock the door fast enough. It got a toe in, just a little. Doesn't need much. The hallway in the mirror is longer now. You won't measure it, but you know. You know it's not the same length as the real one. At 9:43, the static will start. Just a whisper at first. The TV wants to tell you something. Don't let it. Mute it. Burn it. It sees you now. You looked too long. You always look too long. My throat was dry. I turned off the TV, pulled the plug from the wall, covered every mirror in the apartment with towels, jackets, whatever I had. At 9:43, the static started. The unplugged TV turned on, just static, not white noise, not snowy fuzz. It was black. The screen was black, with faint white lines twitching across it, like veins. And the sound, it wasn't static, it was breathing. I turned my back, sat on the floor with my hands over my ears, shaking like a kid waiting out a thunderstorm. The screen didn't turn off until sunrise. That day at work, I didn't speak. I didn't look at Janelle. She didn't look at me either. She'd stopped smiling. Her face was blank now, like a mask she was forgetting to wear. I went home early. The journal was already open. March 17th. No more dreams, just waiting now. The hallway reflection has grown roots. You'll see them if you peek. Don't. Today, the voice will say your name. It will sound like someone you miss. Someone who is dead, or might as well be. Don't answer. Answering makes it stronger. The pages are almost done. You've almost caught up. When you read the last one, you'll remember everything. You'll remember what this was for. Why you're the one who had to find it. That line. Why you are the one who had to find it, it stuck with me. Like a shard of glass in my mind. I tried to think. What had I done? What mistake had I made? Was I cursed? Was this karmic, some cosmic punishment? I paced until I was dizzy. I chewed through a pencil. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. And finally I gave in. March 18th. Today's the last day. You've read every page now, except this one. That means it's time. You've felt it, haven't you? The tug, The way reality's been thinning around the edges, mirrors bleeding into dreams, time folding in on itself. The journal didn't predict your life, it was writing it. You're not the reader, you're the ink. I stopped. That couldn't be the end. There were no instructions, no warnings, just that one line echoing like a cold breath on the back of my neck. You're not the reader, you're the ink. I looked at my hands. They were smudged, not dirt, not paint, ink. A dark, inky smear across my fingertips and wrists, like I'd dipped them in a leaking pen. But it wouldn't wash off. I scrubbed with soap, alcohol, bleach, nothing worked. I went back to the journal and watched. The last page, the one I'd just read, began to change. The letters twisted, realigned, the words reshaped, until they said this: March 19th, someone new will find it, someone tired, someone lost. The thrift store will call to them, the journal will be warm, it always is. They'll open it, and the story will begin again. I screamed, loud, broken, animal-like. My chest ached with it. But it didn't stop the letters from settling in place. It didn't stop the final line from appearing. You were never reading the journal. The journal was reading you.